Okay, we are back for episode 2 of the 50/50 podcast.
I almost said I forgot what episode number we're on, but it's due.
What do you mean you forgot? How?
Because I listened to other podcasts in this, and they're like, "Oh, we're episode 287,"
Oh, God.
and I was like, "Oh, dang, what are we on?" I was like scratching my head right there.
The sad part of fumbling on episode 2. Do you think we're gonna make it to like episode 250, whatever?
I hope so. I mean, that's the goal, right?
Wait, that's like 4 years now I think about it, right? 50 episodes a year ish, right? Like there's gonna be off episodes, and then 250, that's 5 years. Oh my goodness. Yo, some people
we're gonna be so different from then, I think.
Do you think so? Oh yeah, okay.
Like we can go back to these videos and see how much our viewpoints have changed in life.
Yeah, do you think you're gonna change a lot, or do you think you're gonna stay the same?
Oh, dude, episode 250, I'm gonna have a Greta Thunberg shirt on.
Oh my!
I'm gonna have like her face tattooed on my cheek or something. I'm like, woo! Global warming.
Listening from last episode, we had a whole conversation off call too about that too. Oh my goodness!
Greta Thunberg lives in our heads rent free. Needless to say.
Yeah, it's interesting though, like thinking about where, like, because we're old enough now where like in 5 years, yeah, we should develop. I think everybody, like, if you're still the same
There's
person,
got to be character growth, right?
Yeah, you like, even if
unless it's a bad anime,
like mid-20s, like in your 30s, you shouldn't be the same way you were in your 20s, right? Like that's kind of cringe a little bit. Like
that would be bad.
That would be kind of awful.
At some point, the kids have to grow up.
Yeah. I feel like we should cancel ourselves if like we look back at the podcast and like we were the
what do you mean by that?
I don't know, like we
cancel ourselves
like in 5 years, like in 5 years if we look back and we're the same people.
To cover our ass. I got you.
Or
maybe we say something sketchy here, like, I come up with a Greta Thunberg apology video 5 years down the road, like, I don't condone these actions, I was a kid back then. Greta Thunberg, you're actually kind of dope, G.
Well, or I was thinking, like, at least if we look back in 5 years and we're the same people, at least being, like, saying something crazy and getting canceled, at least that's some kind of development, right? Like,
it's something, right?
Yeah, at least there's some change. Like,
hey. At least we're not stagnant. Speaking of change, though, my status of being alive could be changed to dead pretty soon.
What do you mean? What kind of segue was that? Hello?
As we're recording this in the middle of the night on a Sunday, there's currently a tornado watch here in Oklahoma. So if all of a sudden my camera goes out and you see my body fly around the room, I'm not possessed. I'm merely dead. But it is what it is, At least the podcast will live on with you. You can call it the 50-0 podcast.
No, not the 50-0.
Change the name. Trademark
God,
it.
Like in 5 years, one of us goes missing, and then like it's just the 050 or the 50-0 podcast.
Oh, and then we can base it off of like the chances that the police say that you're actually alive. Like, oh, Par has a 30% chance of being alive. Oh, okay. It's the 30-50 podcast, guys.
You know what's crazy though? In like 4 years, or even like in 2 years, you could replace me with an AI. Like you and me, no one would know, right? Like
no one would know.
No one would know. We would just be people on a screen and talking. And the one thing that I did do, and I don't want to like necessarily encourage this.
You deep faked a video.
Well, no, I tested the AI with my voice, and the thing is, like, I used my scripts, and I played it with my wife. Maybe I talked about it last episode, too.
I think you did.
Yeah, like, it just kept on getting higher pitched, and I was like, whoa, this is so weird. And I guess it's, like, the weird intonation I have with my voice, that the AI was just like, well, he progressively gets higher pitched as he talks, so let's just keep on going, and then by the end
he just starts doing helium every sentence. Yeah. So, I mean, we gotta hype it up a little bit.
No, it was the most, like, it was the creepiest thing by the end of it, because my wife was just like, it's like you're high pitched but deep at the same time. I'm like, whoa. Like,
that would be kind of cool for a horror movie. Imagine you're watching a horror movie about the boogeyman or something, and he starts off like really deep raspy voice, like, hello, Par, and then by the end he's like, hello, Par.
No.
Like, that'd be cursed. No, that'd be scary, but it would also give the monster demon boogeyman guy lore, right?
It'd
like,
give him character
development.
Yeah.
It's the character development we were looking for. It's just found through helium.
His voice changes. That's so interesting.
Oh, speaking of our changing though on our episodes.
Yeah.
Last episode we hyped up a really big topic.
Okay.
And I wanted to bring it back for this episode. I wanted to do good on my promises, right?
Yeah, that's what we do.
The Mariana's Trench part.
Yes.
I pulled up a list right here on the side. 10 things that everyone should know about the Mariana's Trench.
You said hold on. No.
What's up?
Listen, everyone listening, you gotta understand from my perspective, this is what Sai told me. He said, I'm gonna brush up on Mariana's Trench. My man just Googled something like 5 minutes before the
And my version of brushing up is just Googling it and then letting it sit until the time where I have to talk about it.
No, but you didn't even Google things to learn about it. You literally Googled top 10 things to know about the Mariana's Trench.
I was looking for a BuzzFeed video, but I got what seems to be text on a screen. I don't know what this is. If it's not a Minecraft YouTuber, I don't watch it, man.
Oh my God.
That's where I get all my information from. But I'll try to do whatever this English is right here.
All right, hit me with it.
And I thought it'd be fun to go through the list together, right? We could both learn, and I guess you guys too. We could all learn about the Mariana's Trench together. So everybody huddle up, grab your Mariana Trench trench coats.
Just real quick,
settle in.
I want to learn. I think the viewers want to learn. Why is the Mariana's Trench so important here for us to learn about? I just want to know.
I just think it's deep.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. Great answer.
Wait, no, it's like deep, like when you really think about it, it's a deep premise, and it's also like deep in the ocean too. Like it's
very deep.
It's deep on multiple regards.
Yeah, multifaceted depth. Okay,
yes,
so this
multifaceted depth. It's important. And here's the thing: maybe you're like me. You don't have too many friends IRL, and you're like, man, I really want to get some friends. So you listen to this podcast, you learn about the Mariana's Trench, and then next thing you know, you're in public, you're at Walmart, maybe, looking through the fish aisle, and then you see some dude just wander by, right? You're like, okay, he's around my age, he looks like he plays Valorant or something. And you can say, hey, brother, I know about the Mariana's Trench.
I need to, okay.
Easy.
Okay. Let's back
Easy
it up real
starter.
quick. Let's back it up real quick.
Up?
I have a challenge for you, Sai. Profile somebody in public that can converse with you about the Mariana's Trench. Profile them right now. What would they look like? Where would you find them?
See, here's the thing.
They're not Valo players.
You don't have to profile them, right? Because I feel like everyone in the world can relate to the Mariana's Trench.
Oh,
yes.
How so?
Part. If I went to my wife right now, who has, I think, little to no knowledge about the Mariana's Trench,
rude,
I could be like, hey, babe, let me tell you about this fish that's down there in the trenches. And then she'd be like, yo, that's dope, right?
Right.
Or I could be like, hey, babe, like the Mariana's Trench, it's in the ocean. It's super deep. According to fact number 1, it's deeper than the highest mountain is tall. Like, I like to think that'd be pretty crazy to hear about, right? Like, off rip. The first thing you say, remember, guys, walk up to somebody in public, scoot over a little bit to them, and whisper, the Mariana's Trench, it's deeper than the highest mountain is tall. And then what do you think they're going to say?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to say. They're going to be like, wow, thank you.
Exactly. And everyone would. See, no profiling involved.
Oh, wow.
Just a regular person.
You're right.
If you live on Earth, you're going to like the Mariana's Trench. Heard it here first.
I see. The thing was, earlier on, I was gonna be like the Mariana's Trench is deeper than the Mount Everest would be if it was there, and I guess that's just number one. So that's good. I'm one for one. Let's hit me with another one, Sai.
Okay, so fact number 2 about the Mariana's Trench: there are a lot of birthday candles to blow out. What does that mean? Oh, it's one of the most ancient seabeds on the planet, approximately 180 million years old. They gave it like a YouTube clickbait title right here.
Wait, where did the birthday candle part come from? Was that
it had to do with how old the Mariana's Trench is, I think.
Oh, I was like,
yeah, it's like my YouTube videos on my main channel. It's all clickbait.
The age
has nothing to do with the actual video.
Isn't all of the sea floor just old? Like, how do they? What?
Well, okay, so the thing with seabeds is that since they're all different elevations, since this is the deepest one, it was probably formed first, which is why it's one of the most ancient seabeds.
Okay.
Because there wasn't a lot of water back in the day, right?
No, there was
Like
a lot of water.
There was more Earth than there is. Not more Earth. There's more land than there is now. So as it rained over the 180 million years, the ocean floor, the seabed got bigger and bigger. It expanded.
Well, like
as it took over the land.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
So I don't think it's wrong.
I'm pretty sure
when it
there
says
was
it's
a
an ancient
point
seabed
in our world when the whole Earth was just water. Then there was like lands from the volcano stuff. Then,
but before the water, we were like a just amalgamation of craters, right? Or like asteroids or something. Excuse my. I don't know about the Big Bang. Like if you guys know about this, please enlighten us. But
I'm trying to remember.
You got two buffoons here thinking about the origins of the Earth.
I think it was a bunch of gases, right? And then the gases settled to water. Then something between volcanoes and water. Then we get land and stuff. And then so then there's also a process of like how like water, like our air is like nitrogen, oxygen, or whatever. There's like not particles, like phytoplankton, right? That started growing and they kind of like filtered out.
Isn't phytoplankton crazy to think about?
What's so crazy?
Like you could just like open your mouth and just consume phytoplankton without even knowing it.
Can't you do that with everything? Oh, like without even knowing. Okay.
Like right now, like I could like open my mouth and swallow, and I just ingested so much bacteria and like random stuff in the air.
Bacteria, 100%. Phytoplankton is a little bit different. It's a little bit bigger than that, I think, right? Like it's not.
But it's still small. It's not like.
True.
It's not like you don't go in for a bite like, oh, let me take a big bite of phytoplankton.
That's true. I think phytoplankton is
like we're like the whales and they're like the plankton door whale
on moss. Like it's just like there, like you're not taking a bite like of a moss.
It's like seasoning.
Okay. See, hold on. That's not a bad way to look at it.
It's like seasoning.
I wonder if phytoplankton tastes good.
I feel like they would, right? Like it's an OG ingredient. It has to be good.
An OG ingredient. Why did you say it? I guess you're right. Like
it's one of the primal foods of mankind.
If you think about like the Earth, right? Like the oceans is just soup, right? And then like that was the technical first seasoning for the world's soup. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna
see. Look, we're learning a lot. We're being enlightened.
I don't know if this article is enlightening us or our stupidity is. I don't know which one it is.
It's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
It's just us being astounded by anything.
Yeah. You know what? I'm actually curious. Like, can you go to a restaurant and ask for phytoplankton? Like the things that whales eat, right? Like phytoplankton restaurant. Like that has to be a thing, right?
I like to imagine that's something high class.
Oh yeah, an ocean-obsessed
Spanish
chef brings plankton to the plate.
Plankton to the plate. He's bringing the pee-pee over to the restaurants.
Okay. Well, I need apparently I need a subscription to Washington Post. Gross. 1 second. Boston Magazine.
Yeah, Washington Post and all those websites based off of news articles, like bad. They always have like the craziest ad block disablers on there.
Yeah.
Like I see you using ad block. Could we suggest our $10.99 subscription instead? Like whoa, calm down, buddy. Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
So apparently, freeze-dried phytoplankton is what he serves, and it tastes like the ocean. That's so cool. Wait, it actually is a sea spice.
I knew it.
Wait, this is crazy. You're right. Wait, hold on. We're cracked.
What did they say? Even a broken clock is right 5 times a day or something?
I don't know about 5 times, but you know what? I think we're better than a broken clock because that one was a cracked one. You know what's crazy?
I just made a theory about the Earth and it was right.
No, not just that.
I'm an Earth theorist.
This is like a top of the line, like a Michelin star like chef. Which, by the way, Michelin star is the goofiest thing ever. But like,
it's super cool.
What do you mean it's super cool?
What, do you not like Michelin stars?
Do you know what Michelin stars came from?
It started from the tire company, yeah.
Yeah, that's the stupidest thing
They gave out awards for traveling. What is like travelers? It started as almost a travel guide.
Yeah,
from what I know.
Yeah. So like Michelin star, when like they oldest tire company. But back in the day, who needed tires, right? Like nobody needed tires. Only rich people had tires, and it's like, where were those people gonna go? Like they didn't need to go places. So then they were like, hey, there's some really good food all the way over here, like 50 miles away. And then they're like, you know, how else can you get there? It's gonna take forever by car. Oh, but we have tires. And so it was like a way to incentivize people.
It was
to travel.
a weird marriage of ideas.
Yeah, it was honestly smart, but like
it's super smart.
Yeah, very, very smart.
But right now, like current day, I think Michelin star outweighs the actual tire company.
What do you mean?
Like if you were to ask a kid right now, middle schooler, high schooler, what do you associate the word Michelin with? They'll say Michelin star. Like I guarantee you, almost no kid nowadays know about the Michelin tire company.
You know what's? I could agree with you, except on TikTok, I have been a part of Formula One TikTok. And Formula One racing, and it bleeds into NASCAR racing, is actually like massive. Formula One like drama is crazy, and so like I see.
Is Michelin still active?
Michelin
for
tires.
For tires?
Yeah, they're still active.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still active. The doughboy.
But more active than Gordon Ramsay though.
Man, all right.
Gordon Ramsay's like the #1 YouTuber right now. He's taken over.
The #1 YouTuber is crazy, but like I get it. #1 influencer in the taste space, right?
Yeah, the taste space. That's good.
Yeah. I know. I could see that. Yeah, a lot of kids know Gordon Ramsay, Michelin star. No, you're right. They know more about that than the tires for sure. Oh, man, that's kind of crazy though. What's also interesting is that a lot of people flex like Michelin stars.
Yeah.
And like go to the places. That shit ain't worth it half the time. There's like
Have you been?
I've been to a few places, but like there's a place in New York City that me and my wife, we love going to. It's called Kung Fu Kitchen, I believe.
Kung Fu Kitchen.
Yeah. So
is it Indonesian food?
No, I think it's just mainland Chinese. It's just regular, and then they have dim sum though. I believe they have dim sum menu. Yeah, it's
Those
mostly
Chinese.
a takeout, and it's and they do hand spun everything, and so their hand spun dumplings have a Michelin star. But then my favorite thing is their scallion pancakes with beef in it. Oh my god! And the thing is though, it's like $8 like for like a whole plate versus, and it's Michelin star level, and it's amazing. Like I brought, when we went to what's it called, Anime NYC Anime NYC.
Yeah.
I took all the creators there. I was like, yo, let's just go right here. It's mad close. And they were like, all right, we're listening to part. And then we went, and they're like, yo, this place is bomb. And I was like, and it's cheaper than the places next door, and it's so much worth it. But then at the same time, me and my wife, when we were younger, we went to a few places just to like see, like, you know, we, especially when we travel, we'd always get like going to local places, but we also like trying like some of the things that, you know, people talk about. And then it's like the ambiance that they do, and like the stuff. It's like, bro, I just care about the food a lot of the times, you know. Some of the other stuff just takes away from it. And and then like I've eaten, like there was like award-winning meatballs. I regret, it was the most expensive
award-winning meatballs. Yeah, that's a curse name. They're setting themselves up for failure.
And it was like nah, some of these things are scams, or they won them a long time ago. What happened?
I've only had one meatball in my entire life.
What? What does that even mean? Like, how do you have?
So
when do you ever exposed to one meatball? Like, you're always exposed to multiple meatballs.
A better way to say it is I've only been exposed to one type of meatball.
Okay.
So I am a really picky eater. You know, I'm in my like mid to late 20s now. I'm a really picky eater. Yes. I
never would have thought
Italian phobia when it comes to food.
Okay.
So I don't eat pasta. I don't eat spaghetti. I've actually never had those foods before. Just so that Valentine's dinner that me and my wife went to, that was my first time I ever took a bite of ravioli.
Oh, you did tell me. Wait, you said lasagna. You said the first time you had lasagna. Was it ravioli?
It was ravioli. My bad.
Okay.
If I misspoke on that.
I mean, it was late that day, so.
Yeah, but that was my first time actually trying Italian food. Okay, and I don't count pizza as Italian. That's totally Americanized. I take it as it is. Don't ruin that for me.
It's like the pocketed pasta with
Yeah,
sauces.
pocket. It was like brisket ravioli.
Okay, and how did
It was
you
kind of fancy,
do?
but
How did you like it?
I did good. I chewed it a little bit. I swallowed, and I was like, you know what? That tastes great, but I'm never gonna eat it again.
Wait, I'm so confused. How do you have? You said you have phobia for Italian food, but like
Yes.
you've never had it before, and then
Yes, it's like a fear. It's irrational fear of Italian food.
Where did it stem from? What happened?
So there is a story behind it. So what happened was I was back in middle school, and me and my cousin, we were really close. We used to be really close, and he used to spend the night at my place all the time, and we used to play like our old PS1 or PS2 or whatever. It was great. But there was one time where I spent the night at his house, and his mom made him spaghetti.
Okay.
And she made him a whole bunch, and she wanted him to have it and take it to school. But he didn't want it. So what he did was he put it in a giant Ziploc bag. It was like a giant, like a quart Ziploc bag. I don't know how his mom made that much spaghetti. Like she was trying to do some Hansel and Gretel type shit to him.
Okay.
But she
Wait,
but she put it in a bag.
Ziploc bag isn't that big. You mean a gallon Ziploc bag? Like,
Maybe gallon,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I'm not good with my sizes, but
all right, fair enough.
he put it in my backpack. And I didn't know until I got to school. And I remember getting to school, and it was geography class.
Oh
Miss
no,
Hendricks.
not geography class.
And I forgot what it was, but I think I reached into my backpack, and I saw this giant bag of spaghetti that I didn't know what it was at the time. I just saw like a red, like, you know, kind of squishy bag. And I got so sick to my stomach. And I didn't know what it was, so I raised my hand. I was one of those kids. I raised my hand. I was like, Miss, like there's something here. And then, you know, she looked at it and she was like, so I think that's spaghetti. And then I got really
What grade was
sickened
this?
out. I threw up. It was like 6th or 7th.
6th
So
and 7th.
So I went to the bathroom and I threw up and I threw it away.
It was still in the bag. Like your hand
Yeah.
didn't like touch it. It's
no,
just-
I didn't touch it at all.
You just
yeah.
saw like a bag of
It was-
spaghetti.
it was the
like
proximity.
marinara. It was like marinara
Yeah.
sauce, spaghetti with
Yeah,
like,
like,
bolognese, like meat.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
So-
you just like didn't know what it was.
I didn't know what
trying
it
to,
was. I threw it away and then I threw up.
I'm trying to
like,
like
even
put
thinking about it right now,
myself
I
in
get
your
queasy.
shoes. So hold on. Your friend put it in your bag.
My cousin, yeah.
Your cousin put it in your bag
Yes.
for what reason? What was
Because he didn't want to eat his mom's nasty spaghetti, is my guess.
So, you didn't even ask him. You just, wait, do you talk to him after this? Like,
No, I never said anything until we were adults. Like, I think, like, after I graduated college, or I didn't graduate college, but after I graduated high school and I was in college, I asked him about it. And I think he did admit to being the one who put spaghetti in my backpack.
And what did
Because
he
it
have
still
to
haunts me to this day.
Did you tell him that you don't eat Italian food ever again because of that?
Yeah. So ever since that day, I just don't eat Italian food.
Okay, so and
I don't even get next to it. I don't go to Italian restaurants. So my wife loves Italian food,
Oh no. Okay.
but I have a thing where like, hey, you know, if you do Italian food, like I can't be in the kitchen. I can't be like around while you're eating it. I can't kiss you for the next couple hours until you brush your teeth or something.
What the heck? That's
Like-
crazy.
No, dude, that Italian food fucks me up.
My wife said that to me about it wasn't she didn't say this about this, but like I always mess
Yeah.
with her, but like I don't like seafood. I don't like any seafood.
Yeah.
And I had a reason when I was younger, like my parents always got like they just whenever there was like a celebration type of thing, they're like lobster. I hated lobster because, and I said this at the restaurant, wherever it was, like, you know, like the wait. I remember like as a kid, it was like a waitress or something. She's like, "Would you like? Do you want lobster too?" And I was like, I was literally like, "Fuck no!" And then she's like, "Oh wait, why?" Because I was like so like abrupt. I was like, "Cause they're sea cockroaches." And then my like parents were like, and then I was just like,
what are you talking about?
yeah, they were embarrassed, right? And I was like, I'm not lying. Like, what, you're gonna tell me to like lie? Like, no, they're actually sea cockroaches. And I was like making it up, like sort of as a kid,
Yeah.
because that's what they like looked like. But that's actually their lineage. Like, they are the same family. And then like my mom is like a zoologist, so she was like once I said that, she was like, no, actually he's right. Like, they actually are sea cockroaches. And I'm like from that, like shrimp, lobster, all this stuff. I don't know what it is with seafood. It just gives me that like that weird like ick kind of like ugh. I don't know.
Do you wait? Okay, so do you like Italian food though?
I love Italian food. I do.
See, here's the thing: if we combined, like, did a fusion dance,
Uh-huh.
we would be the ultimate consumer of food. Because I love seafood more than anything.
Dang, really?
Yeah, like lobster, like crustaceans in general. Like I eat it up.
That's a so like I'll eat like I've had lobster since then. It doesn't like gross me like what you're saying.
Yeah.
But like I can't eat like more than one bite. And that's the thing with me. I like to try anything.
Like you prefer not to eat it.
Yes. I'll try anything. Like so like squid and octopus was like the limit when I was younger, and like my wife was just like no, like it just kind of like grossed her out, and she told me like what you said to your wife, where she was like, I don't know if I could like kiss you after. I was like, oh, for a lobster? What do you mean? Like fry like not lobster, for octopus? Like we're not even like at the crazy stuff yet. Like what about frog or like other things?
What about fish eyes?
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. And you know what, it's crazy.
Wait, do you eat fish eyes?
I don't like
I
think I've tried like,
I think that's like a very like Eastern thing, like Asian thing, like eating fish eyes, fish brain and stuff.
No, yeah,
they cock and balls.
Our culture, they do that too. I just stay away from like, ever since like mad cow disease. Like anytime someone like says like anything like brain related, I'm like, I'm okay, because that's how you get that. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm fine. You know what? Like,
funny enough, you brought up mad cow disease and being scared of eating brain. I'm scared of eating fish tongues.
What's with fish tongue? Wait, fish like tongues? Like
you don't.
You
don't know about fish tongues?
No, I don't know about fish tongues.
This used to scare the hell out of me as a kid. Okay, so there's this like parasite in the ocean that it attaches to a fish's tongue.
Okay.
And it essentially eats all of the food the fish would eat.
Okay.
So like every time the fish would eat something, like whether it be like, shrimp or, dirt off the floor, the parasites that's attached to its tongue would actually eat all of the food. So the fish would starve to death. And the parasite would live on, and that's how it survives. And the thing is that when fishermen catch it and they freeze, the fish or, fry it up or whatever, the part of the parasite is always still alive. So if you were to eat it, the parasite would go into your body. Obviously, the human body is very different. You'd probably fight it off and kill it, but it's still a very scary thought. And that always freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah, there's a lot of like parasites and body like weird viral things in the ocean that just kind of, especially now, like whenever people like talk about going to Miami or like Florida, I'm like, that's gross, because the oceans down there aren't even nice, like especially not anymore. Yeah, like every year it's called, I think, the red tide, which is basically just a bunch of like flesh-eating bacteria or something of that nature. Just
oh my God.
Yeah, and then
it's like a natural disaster, just flesh-eating bugs.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, it's like right off the coast they have like oil spills every year where just dead things just float onto the shore. That shit doesn't get cleaned up. Then you have like the flesh-eating bacteria that's there. But then on top of that, like during the pandemic, DeSantis was just dumping radioactive water out of the like.
Amen, DeSantis.
Into the thing, and I was like, between all three, you're getting like Aquaman's coming for you. Like I don't understand what you're talking.
We need Mr. Beast to go clean up the ocean over there.
I don't even know if
Jimmy,
you can.
please do a video.
I don't even know if you can. But like going back to the thing, like it's always like crazy what exists in our world, because like like not to bring One Piece in, but like some of the things make anime and fiction like seem tame. Like for example, on the parasite note, it's like I think there's like an ant one and a caterpillar one where there's like this like spore or mushroom.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it takes over their body, right?
Yeah, it just like grows inside their brain, takes it over, and then like you just get zombie caterpillars and zombie ants. And I'm like, that.
And the craziest thing is apparently the ants and caterpillars are still alive, so they're feeling everything that happens to them, but they just can't do anything. They're just paralyzed.
Yeah, and then they go through their like they go through the motions of what like an ant would do, and it's just like I don't even know like what God's plan was with that. Like it was the kind of experience.
I don't think there was a plan. Like, he just said F the ants,
like,
man.
What? You know what I mean? Like I just had this thing with my wife actually about something with babies, because we just had a baby, and there's something like confused me, but just on this one, it's like how like evolution, right? Like things evolve so that they survive better, right? What evolutionary advantage is like the zombie thing? Because it's just like I feel like there's so many better ways that like they could have evolved to survive. Like all you have to do is spread the spore, right? Like you could have stayed on the ant, but then like you're also like taking it over. I guess it goes to the other ants, I guess, but like I don't know how like you go from like a normal mushroom to one that just eats like an ant alive and it's like evolves to spread by doing that. That is so confusing.
Well, if I had to guess, maybe the mushroom was eaten by an ant.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, man, I really hate them. I really want to evolve to take over that body and, you know, F him up. I don't know. That's got to be it, right? Like, at some point,
yeah.
the mushroom must have, like, really wished into an existence or something.
But, like, usually in that case, they'll just develop, like, poison. Like, this, so that the ants will stop eating it. Or, like, they won't taste good for them.
You know, the mushroom probably saw the other poison ones and he was like, you know what? I want to be unique. I got to stand out.
I'm not like those peasants.
It was like a trans mushroom.
Oh no!
It transcended the mushroom race.
I like that save there. The transcendent mushroom.
Oh no, that's kind of what I was aiming for. So
I thought
not a dig at genders. You know, I don't want to get canceled yet. You know, at least wait till episode 3, guys. Come on.
No, we gotta wait till episode 250. We gotta resurface these things. Did you know that Psy was messing with trans? You know what's crazy? In 5 years,
and he doesn't like Greta Thunberg.
Oh my god, you had to throw that on top. No, it's like I forget what it was with babies. Oh man, I'm forgetting. It was like I was just thinking about it. Like it made no sense evolutionary wise for the thing to like ever happen. Damn.
The umbilical cord.
No, not the umbilical cord. If I remember, I'll come back to it. But I was just sitting there. I'm like,
nipples on men.
It makes no sense because it's like if for this evolutionary trait to exist,
yeah,
like the you would have to like. It's not like when you're like 30 years old and you have a kid or something. That evolutionary like. I don't know. It's such a confusing thing. I just sat there with my wife for like an hour. I'm just explaining it. She's just like, that's so, you're like, it's confusing. You're right. But like, why are you thinking about it? I was like, I don't know. It's just bothering me right now.
Why did we evolve to this?
Yeah. I got to think
You know,
about
speaking of which, when I was a kid, I didn't know guys were supposed to have nipples.
What? What do you mean?
So
like
I think I was like in elementary school or middle school again. I guess that's when all my childhood stories take place.
I mean,
but
childhood stories.
You know, that's when I first started dabbling into naked women.
Okay.
And the thing is that I knew women and girls had nipples. But and you know, like video games, right? Like PS1, PS2, they don't have like amazing graphics. So the guys, you know, when a guy has a shirt off, he usually doesn't have a nipple.
Back in the day, yes.
Yeah, back in the day. And it's like, you know what, dude? Like what's wrong with me? Like, I looked down at my chest and I was like, I'm not a girl, am I? Like, is that what's happening to me right now?
Oh, no.
So I remember I went up to my mom and I was like, Mom, how do I take these off? I was like, Mom,
what did she say?
How do I take off these nipples? She explained that they're like normal. Like every guy has them. Oh. And then I saw my dad's nipples and I was like, okay, no, this is chill then.
You didn't think to go to your dad? Just whoosh. Oh, all right, I'm cool.
Well, my dad worked like really long night shifts.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't really see my dad too often. So,
sense.
You know, I couldn't really look at my dad's nipples at the time. So I had to ask my mom for like the advice. I was like, Mom, I just gotta know, like, what do I do with these? I think I remember like one of the solutions I had as a kid was how do I make them smaller? I don't have fat nipples, but as a kid, you know, having a nipple at all was kind of, you know, disturbing.
Yeah, because you play like
at the time, I was just like,
didn't have nipples, and you're just like, huh?
Yeah, I was just like, man, like if I can't get rid of the nipples, how do I make it small? Small enough to where like nobody can see it.
Did you try to do anything?
No, my mom talked me out of it. Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Yeah, you know,
I don't really have nipples anymore though. I tattooed over them, so they're all blackened out.
Oh. That's interesting.
Yeah. One of the worst pains of my life is tattooing my nipple.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably the most...
It's so painful.
Wait, is that...
worse than death, man.
I feel like there's like one other location that's probably also painful, but like... I don't...
What location?
I don't know if it's proper to ask, like, you know, the nether regions, you know? Like
the nether regions. I don't have my nether regions tatted, but I have like the dip right above... Like you know the dip right above the nether regions, like in between your stomach and waist and like you know the nether regions, spot. Like that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that hurts. That hurts
Ah,
too.
yeah. Wait, which one's worse, the nipple or that?
Nipple. Oh, nipple for sure.
Oh, but do you think that if you went further down, it would probably equate the nipple part? Probably, right? Because
Maybe not.
they're both like genitalia, technically,
It,
right?
it, it depends on your body structure. I think for me, I didn't really have too much down there, like in terms of like stomach or anything,
Mm-hmm.
or like I don't have like a beefy nether, not nether region. That's not the right way. Like it's not the ball. That's not bulky.
Yeah.
It's the area where like the pubes grow, right?
Yeah. I know.
Like
No, but I'm saying,
mine,
like,
it doesn't
if-
have a lot of fat or anything down there. So when they push down, it like pushes into your actual pelvic bone.
Yeah.
So that's what that hurts.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was because I've never gotten tattooed. My wife has, but like
Yeah.
the point, like I'd imagine the sensitive regions, they would probably. I feel like that the other one would probably be just as painful, right? Like probably.
Yeah. Tattoos in general hurt, man. Don't get them.
Don't
Don't get tattoos.
Is that your recommendation to the audience?
Yeah, don't get tattoos, man.
Wait.
That hurts.
But that's crazy because you're looking.
I have
at
23 tattoos. Don't get them.
Dang, because like I don't get tattoos, but mine's for a medical thing. Yeah, because given there's it's crazy. I mean, not to take a quick aside, we were like streaming or on a call before, and people were like, "Oh my God, is this the host of the 50/50 podcast?"
We're starting to get recognized for the podcast more than our main channels on YouTube, which I'm all for.
Yeah, it'd
I'm
be
all for
crazy
that.
if that's how we get more people to watch One Piece is like through this podcast, but
It's the 50/50 boys.
yeah, the 50/50 boys. Which, by the way, there's a few people, especially like my mods who listen to this. They were like, "Oh, like you guys should change your name because it already exists." I think we were both kind of like, it's fine. We'll be the active ones. We'll be the ones take over. So we're probably, I don't know. I feel like we're also too lazy to think about other names, and the 50/50 one kind
We
of just
are.
fits. It just works.
See, here's the thing too. My podcasting runs in the family.
Oh, wait,
My cousin has a podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
like
But he's not doing too well.
Oh.
Looks like they quit. I'm looking at their account right
Oh
now.
my
It's game over for them. So
thought
I
you-
won.
I thought you were gonna be like, oh, my cousin's Joe Rogan. So
Oh no. Me and my family aren't super close, so whenever
Yeah.
I excel at something, I don't like say anything to them, but I'm just like,
right.
that's what you get.
Yeah. So, I was
What's
saying
up?
like with the health.
I mean,
thing.
not like the podcast 50/50 successful by any means, but
Yeah,
we
maybe
got more than 2
5 years.
people watching it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I was actually surprised how many
If you're
people.
number 2 or number 1 or number 3 that's watching this, thank you. Thank you.
I was surprised how many people clicked on, especially as quickly as they did. Because these are also like different than what we usually do.
It's on like a VOD channel, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what we usually do, the content that we usually create has a short lifespan, whereas like these things, like you could listen to this.
These
whenever.
can live forever.
Yeah, you can even
I
come
still
back.
go back to like podcasts that I've listened to before, and I
Yeah.
still watch like episode 1 and 2.
Oh,
It's fun.
yeah, that's fun.
It's good background noise,
Yeah. So for the viewers that don't know, going back to the tattoo conversation, I was diagnosed with cancer a few years ago, and
R.I.P. Par.
R.I.P. And I'm doing much better now, obviously, in a positive place, good things. But at the time, especially at the time, it was like it was metastatic, so everything's like in the lymph nodes and things like that.
Yeah.
And lymph nodes is your nervous system, not your nervous system. Your what's it called? The immune system. Wow, words. Immune system. And so your lymph nodes can swell up for any reason. Like you could literally just like get allergies and then your lymph nodes in your neck would swell up or something like that. And that's where my cancer was. So any kind of swelling would just make everything a lot more stressful because of like, yes, they could differentiate what is cancer and what isn't cancer, but in the grand scheme of like a surgery, they're gonna err on the side of like, this is probably cancer because you have cancer, so we should just do surgery rather than like wait and watch and see what happens. So because of that, I erred on the side of caution. That's how I've always been. Like, it wasn't that difficult for me to transition to like a germaphobe life. I was always a germaphobe type of person. And so one of the things was like my like a lot of friends, my wife is like, let's get tattoos. But the thing is about tattoos is tattoos are essentially like a foreign object in your body, and that makes it so that your immune system constantly has to fight it, and so it makes it active. And so that can actually make your lymph nodes swell. And the thing is, like, a lot of people get them in their arms, and you get lymph nodes on your underarms. That's where they are. And so if those swole, and then I'd have to get like extensive like imaging done just because of like a tattoo, I'd be like, come on, bro.
Imagine it was like a Pickle Rick tattoo.
Yeah, like something, you know, like I at the end of the day,
Pickle
like,
Rick ruined your life.
For me, it was like no thing would be worth it. And then like now I'm just kind of like, except I'm not gonna get a tattoo now, like in my 30s or whatever.
You could get well, I think another big trend that's coming up is scarification.
Scarification? Like you scar yourself?
Like somebody like the tattoo artist will get a scalpel and they'll actually like cut your skin off.
What? No, that's not a new thing.
No, I've seen that. I mean, it's not a new thing. It's been around for a couple of years. It's just not like heavily accessible, but it is like a form of body art.
I'm glad that's not heavily I mean that is technically,
it depends on the state,
better than,
but they don't like kill you or anything, or they don't like, you know, tear your body apart. They just like take a small layer of your skin off.
That's interesting, because like
and obviously you know, you give your consent, so it's not like they're going around murdering people.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I was just kind of like thinking
it's not like the Zodiac killer out there.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like this kind of gets into a weird conversation, but like,
yeah,
is it like taking blood? Because then is that like self-harm? Like that's kind of interesting that where that line
it's not self-harm because somebody else does it though.
That's true, but like you know like what they say, like people who are tattoo addicts, like they just like the pain of it. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree. Yeah,
there's like an addiction to that pain. There's an addiction to like to that thing, and it's like there's a gray area with everything. Like too much of anything is bad, and I'm kind of like wondering, like with that one, like the scarification, like it's kind of interesting because like, it's weird. Do you know what the difference is? I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah,
and I know this is like you can't really do this without getting canceled, but like tapping, like, you know, like in Pacific Islands, instead of like tattoos, like they have the tapping.
Like stick and poke-ish. Yeah.
Like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's like a very
it's what a lot of people would consider stick and poke nowadays.
Okay.
But I know what you mean by when you say tapping, where they have like the little inked up little pillar cylinder thing, and they just like tap your skin and like knock it off. Yeah.
Yeah, like is that's not the same thing that like most people get tattoos, right? Like so that like that,
because that's more painful. It takes longer. There's no guarantee that the ink will set in right. Like nobody really does it nowadays.
Yeah, because all I've heard about that is like if you're like Samoans, right? Like that's like not to make Samoans like a regular thing on the podcast.
2 weeks in a row, you know what? Let's bring up Samoans and Greta Thunberg and the Marianas Trench, the 3 reoccurring topics.
How are you gonna bring up? You know what's crazy? Conversation, we only got to the second bullet point on your list.
Yeah, exactly. See how. Witness the depth of the Marianas Trench.
No, it's not the depth of it's the depth of our like I don't even know. I don't get it. I don't know what we're gonna say.
Honestly, it's the thing.
Honestly, I want to go through the Marianas Trench thing. I don't know where we were going with the Samoan thing, but what was number 3?
No. We can talk about Samoans, man. I mean, hey.
All I know was that there was
if
people.
If you want to keep on going on about Samoans, man, I'm not gonna stop you.
Tapped. And they weren't like the Pacific Islanders, and then they were getting canceled, and like they would go out and
they would get canceled.
Yeah,
wait,
like
they would get canceled because they're not Samoan.
Yeah, it was like cultural appropriation. Like it was like tapping.
No, that's whack.
Yeah, I don't know the full.
That's so whack. I don't like the whole like cultural appropriation thing. I mean, unless they mean it in like a bad spirit.
Yeah.
Like unless they're doing it to be like, oh look, I'm Samoan, but they're not. Like, I feel like it's chill.
Yeah, like
it's just a really cool.
I think
thing from their culture
where
that
the
they
line
want to
draws is like if I do that, right, and then now like I not to meme, but like I identify as Samoan and I join like the
Okay.
Samoan
Okay,
Justice League.
now we gotta draw the line.
Yeah.
See, if you do it, I'd support you. I'd be like, yo, that's kind of freaking dope. But if you also identify as Samoan, all of a sudden I'm like, all right, that's a
and
little
then
bit
like
goofy.
I start fighting for Samoan rights as a Samoan. Like I'm fighting for my people.
A Samoan advocate.
I there's like other lines for cultural appropriation that is like weird, but I know what you mean. Like too many people like kind of like buzzword that
They're like, if you like, there was a couple years ago that really like, shivered me timbers because I'm Asian, right? But there was like this white girl, and she wore a Chinese Oriental dress to her prom. And that was big buzz for a minute. People were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe she's appropriating Asian culture." And I'm like, guys, f off. Who cares? Like, she's not like wearing an Oriental dress and singing ching chong, all the way to school. Like she literally thought it was a cool dress. She wore it, and it is what it is. She looked good in it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like I think drawing the line at that cultural appropriation thing, it's almost doing the reverse effect.
Yeah, a lot of people, and I think what ends up happening a lot of times is the allyship, right? Like people who are allies or people who are defending on behalf of another group, and they end up fighting more than they need to. Like I just watched a video of something similar where this dude was wearing, like this white dude was wearing like a kimono, like I don't know what it's called in Chinese culture, like a similar kind of like a silk kind of thing with the hat, and he went around like a white part of like New York. I think it was New York. He went through a white part of New York, and he went around and he's just like, or no, it was a college campus. I'm pretty sure. And then he was asking,
not the college. Oh, dude, college campuses are so bad nowadays. I'm so glad I quit college, bro. I couldn't stand those goobers.
And he was like, "What do you think about my outfit?" Right? It was very like he wasn't like he wasn't like disrespectful either. Like he was just like, "Hey, like, what do you think about?" Like, and people were giving him looks, and he was just like, "Do you have sorry? Do you have something to say like about my outfit?" And they're like, "You really shouldn't be doing that, buddy." Like, and then he's like, "Oh wait, why?" And he's just like, "Well, you're offending a lot of people." And these were like white people, by the way. Like there's like parading these ideals that they don't even have for themselves. And then they were like, "How do you think they would feel if they saw?" And then he cuts the video and goes to Chinatown, and there's like a bunch of like old ladies or moms and whatever, old dudes, and they're like, "Do you like my outfit?" And they're like, "Yeah, I love it. Do you want another one?" Then just like give him another one, and it's like the most wholesome thing.
Hey, you can wear this tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah, like everyone is like, "Yeah, this looks great. You should wear whatever you want."
Like, I'm not gonna speak for other races, but if you're Asian out there, I'm a mixture of a lot of Asian races. I give you the pass. You couldn't wear the outfits. Don't make fun of Asian people. Just wear it loud and proud. Do what you want to do. You look good in it. Dope, dude. Like, who cares, man? I think it's so stupid. Like when Asian people try to draw that line, or when people try to draw that line, it's like you're doing the opposite of diversity. Like you're really just separating one race from another.
Yeah,
I think that's not on paper. That's not good.
I think a lot of times
maybe that's just me.
No. I see where it started from, because a lot of it started
with good intentions.
Yeah, it starts like at the celebrity level, right? Like when celebrities or someone like they do something and they misappropriate what it means or stands for, and then like talk about it in a way that's very different than like the random dude like down the road doing it, right? Like nobody cares about that dude, right?
It's like going to that dude and being like, "Hey dude, show me your 23andMe. Let me see if you got some Chinese in you."
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, versus like
what would you do if a guy that looks super white's like, "Yeah, by the way, I'm actually Chinese. My mom's Chinese. I just I took my dad's side." Like, what are you gonna say to that?
Yeah.
Versus, if you were to pull that card out,
like if you're like the Kardashian level of fame, which is where a lot of this stem from, where like them appropriating various cultures, but at that level, and not being true to the history or taking away from others' representation, that kind of thing. I could see it in that context, at that level, to certain extents, right? Obviously, it gets taken out of context a lot of times. Here's the question. I think we might have talked about this a long time ago on one of your Twitch streams. I was wondering,
it the Mariana's Trench?
No, it wasn't the Mariana's Trench. It was there was like these white girls. I think it was during the pandemic. they started a mahjong company. And they just started.
That's dope.
They started selling it, and they, like like a board is
No,
like $50.
I think I heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were selling it for like $350, and they were selling it to a bunch of people, and it was just mahjong. And like, what is your take on that? Because that blew
Dude,
up.
who cares? Nobody's. Unless those white girls, I mean, I guess the race doesn't matter. If those girls were holding people at gunpoint, saying, "Buy my mahjong set, don't buy, Lady Chun's mahjong set, buy mine," then that's a problem. But if they're just making a mahjong set and selling it for an exuberant price, like $350 or whatever, why would you stop them? What are they doing wrong?
Yeah.
Mahjong is dope. Nobody plays mahjong. I love mahjong. I think it's a dope freaking game.
Yeah, I know
More people need to play it, but guess what? The game is cursed because you need 4 players. You need 4 players or 2 bots.
True.
To play with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, mahjong, great sport, great game. And if those girls want to make a game out of it and charge a stupid price and people are buying it, power to them, right?
Yeah.
Like the people who are buying their mahjong set were not the ones that are gonna buy the $50 set at Barnes and Noble.
That is so. That's the way I kind of looked at it too. Where it's like I get people being upset, but then like I was thinking like, wait, aren't they just showing you that you could just do that, but like just copy what if they're copying you could just copy them, and then you could sell the authentic
you could literally
ones.
do the same thing. Like nobody's stopping the original manufacturer to just say, oh, here's another set for $300. Like nobody's stopping them. They're not gatekeeping this product.
Yeah, and then on top of that, what ends up happening is now you have, like you said, a whole market that is now being introduced to it. And you know what's gonna happen when they're like their $300 set? Like, are they gonna buy another $300 set? No, they're probably gonna buy a $50 set or something. They're gonna find a cheaper alternative. And look, lo and behold, there's the gateway, right? They just scammed a bunch of
and who knows? Maybe during the process they come to appreciate the culture more.
Yeah.
Like that's how cultures and races get intermingled. You can't draw that line and say, oh, like Par. Hey Par, imagine next time I see you, I hold a gun to your head and be like, Par, you're gonna have to drop the mahjong, buddy. I got a Jean 9 in my hand. Like you gotta drop that. You gotta drop those tiles, buddy.
Yeah.
Unless you show me that 23andMe and you got some Chinese in you, I can't have you do this.
Yeah, and that's
goofy to me.
At the time, I think what made it worse was the girls behind it ended up like speaking out, and that like ended up like they portrayed themselves very, very poorly, and that made it worse for them. And so like because of that add-on but like if they just stayed quiet and just continued what they were doing and like they played off of the virality that they were getting, they would have been fine. But I'm like, from memory, I remember them like talking about it and just being like, like I don't know a good example of this, but like
use the Mariana's Trench as an example. Use the deep sea as an example.
I was gonna say it's kind of like Marvel with like the Iron Fist and like how it's a white Chinese master, like not white, a white dude who went to China, became like a martial artist god, and then like that like people get mad nowadays, but like when you think about it, like why are we get mad when that was made? You know what I mean? Like,
I have a good Mariana's Trench example.
All right,
so like the monkfish. When the monkfish was first named, people always thought it was based off of monks. But when you actually see the fish, it has one of the stinkiest and slimiest skins known to mankind.
Uh-huh.
So I would assume that's like your analogy to the Marvel's character, right?
Not exactly. I know where you were coming from, and I know where you were going, but it wasn't exactly where I was going.
Something has to tie back to the Mariana's Trench.
Hey, that's
all I gotta
fair.
say.
That's fair. You know what? The best segue from cultural appropriation is, how about you tell me how Mariana's Trench was named? Is that on the list?
Well, I gotta go down the list according to numbers.
All right, fine. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think the Mariana's Trench is Latin, right?
I mean, I'm asking you. You're here to tell me.
Okay, so I'm
this
gonna make
episode is being titled "The 10 Things About Mariana's Trench."
So we're not gonna make it through all 10. 2 things took us 54 minutes. If we do all 10 things, it's gonna be a 24-hour podcast.
The clickbait on this episode, like, is it even clickbait? Like, well, should I clickbait something else, or should I just say the top 10 things you should know about the Marianas?
You either need to title this "Cultural Appropriation with Cyan Par," or "The Marianas Trench with Cyan Par." It has to be one of those.
We talked about cultural appropriation for like 7 minutes. Like that was
that's how podcasts do it. So for podcasts, what they typically do is they get the most controversial or most popular topic and then make that the title and thumbnail.
Okay, so are you admitting that Mariana's Trench is not the most popular topic?
No, it is.
Okay, it is.
I'm just saying theoretically that's what other channels do.
All right, fair enough.
But if I had to make a theory video right now, if I had to make a theory video, I would say the Marianas Trench is named that because of the Latin origins.
Okay, fair enough. Mariana. It's a beautiful
because I think
name.
Mary is Latin for sea. I could be 1,000% wrong.
Wait, that's correct. Is it really? No way. No way.
Well, like a marina, right?
Oh.
Marina, Mars.
Oh.
Because of like the sea thing.
That's not bad. Wait, hold on. You, sir, are cracked. I like how we were like on the podcast call. On the call, we were gaming the podcast. Wow.
You guys are witnessing conversations behind the scenes right now. The last 5 minutes never happened. Ignore anything relating to YouTube and titles.
All right, so the Mariana Trench is named after the nearby Mariana Islands, which are named Las Marianas in honor of Spanish Queen Mariana of Austria. Okay, the islands are part of the island arc that is formed on an Okay, I don't care about that.
We need to retcon that.
All right, fair enough. Retcon.
Yeah, retcon it. The theory's true. Mariana's Trench is named that because of the Latin origin.
I mean, it is Latin. It's the Spanish queen's name is Mariana.
Oh.
So Marie.
Hey. All right, there we go. I take 50% credit.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, fact number 3 about the Marianas Trench. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
It says, things do live there. Despite the lack of light and the hostile acidic conditions in the trench, a surprising number of organisms live there. There are more than 200 known microorganisms and small creatures that live there, including crustaceans and amphipods. As more expeditions eventually explore the trench, it's almost certain new species will be discovered. A new type of snailfish was also just found in the trench. So yeah, things do live down there. Pretty crazy. It reminds me of Pacific Rim. Have you ever watched that movie?
No, that's the one with like in the posters like a giant like Optimus Prime kind of looking thing.
Yeah, right? like 2 people pilot a giant Optimus Prime robot and they fight monsters from the Marianas Trench.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that, but
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was like
it's good and not
right?
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah,
it was good and bad. Like I think there's like this one Asian girl that couldn't talk or something, and then every time she had like a flashback, it was her holding some ball in the middle of like city ruins, and I was like, man, it's kind of a turn off.
Oh, okay, all right.
But okay, so like for like animes, right? Like they'll have a flashback mid-fight,
yeah,
and it's always something really sad. Like they did that in this movie, except it's this girl standing amongst the rubble, and we're supposed to like infer that her family all died there, and she was the only survivor. But they didn't really portray it well, in my opinion. So it was just some girl in some album cover.
Gotcha.
Like I was witnessing like a photo shoot more than anything.
No, but Pacific Rim, like, I'm guessing they fight deep sea monsters, I guess, right?
So Pacific Rim, what happens in the movie is, in the Marianas Trench, there's like a portal to another dimension.
Oh, wait, hold on, pause. The movie's about the Marianas Trench?
It's about monsters that come from the deep sea and Marianas Trench specifically.
Oh.
And it's like a portal to a different dimension, and these monsters come out of it. And then that's where like all the giant, like Godzilla-esque monsters come from. I should have. And then they had to go into the Marianas Trench to fight the monsters in their homeland or something.
That's crazy.
That movie's crazy, man. It was ahead of its time.
Yeah, I mean,
it knew we were gonna make the podcast.
I have thalassophobia, and that is the fear of like the deep ocean. Yeah, any body of water. Yeah. But the thing is, I have a separate reason why I fear the ocean, but the base thing is like you can't convince me that there isn't scary stuff down there, because it's
Oh
like,
no, there's super scary stuff down there.
yeah, because it's
I would
like
not go.
we can't go there with the submarine, but we can go to space. I know that's like a flawed concept, but like that is kind of scary. You know what I mean? Like if something's living
Yeah.
down there, like, and it's big, I don't even want to know, right? Because I think the small stuff. This is what's interesting about it is the life form that we see in Mariana's Trench, that depth. It's actually the size. We can't grasp anything really about those life forms because we can't bring them out of that
And
depth.
when we do, they lose their shape.
Yes, and they become blobs and they expand because they're like normally so compressed.
They go through the bends.
Yeah, it's so
The fish experience the bends that we humans do.
yeah, in
That's
reverse,
so good.
in reverse, and it's like it's so crazy. But then you have to ask yourself, it's like, wait, like that's like the smaller stuff. What about the bigger stuff? Like, there might be bigger things that like can tolerate. Like whales are crazy on their own, but like, and that's actually like where my fear comes from is like, I have this like I don't know if I've ever told you this. I have this like weird animals in general, just like there's something about me that animals just gravitate towards me, and it's the most terrifying superpower ever because it's like it can be helpful, but it's also like all dogs, all cats, they just love me. They love me too much. Like when I was a kid, I got chased around by all the neighborhood dogs. They would just come into our neighborhood and like in my house, in our backyard, and like we had a fence. It didn't matter. They'd jump it, they'd dig under, doesn't matter. They would chase me. Soccer games, I remember, like if there was a dog somewhere on the field, I would be chased unless that dog was like leashed up and chained down or whatever, right? And so for when in the ocean specifically, I'm like fish bait. Like it's the most terrifying thing because this is like my wife never really like understood this until we went on our I think it was our honeymoon.
Yeah.
We went snorkeling off in like Cabo, and it was like there was like a B group and an A group, right? The B group is good swimmers. I can swim in the ocean, but my wife can't, so I stayed with her. And the B group is supposed to see like turtles and like all the cool stuff in the ocean and stuff. And keep in mind we're snorkeling. It's like a not that far off the coast. Like we went to like a private. They took us to like a beach area, but it was like not a populated one.
Yeah, he had your own beast like the president.
It wasn't like that. It was like we were smooching off of private beaches. Like we went from like the public pleb place and we went to like the billionaire row. And I was just like, you know what? I'd be pretty upset if I like owned that and then just all the boats would come over there. But we weren't that far from the coast. Like I could probably, you know, it'd take a little bit, but I could probably swim to the coast like fairly like. It wouldn't like stress me out.
Yeah, it was like pretty fast. Yeah.
And you know, obviously you can't see the ground where we were, but there was no fish. There was no fish. We were the last ones to get off the boat. Me and my wife were the last ones to get off, and everyone was just complaining on the A group. They're like, there are no fish, and so I get off. My wife gets off first. She looks, no fish. I get off, and there's like this little girl, like probably like 8. She starts screaming, blood-curdling screaming, like as if a shark is attacking her. And I'm like, yo, what is happening? And I look underwater, and I see these giant fish, like probably this, like giant fish as in like it's this big, but the reason why they're giant is because it was a school of fish. But they were big.
Oh, yeah, it's
big.
a collective.
Yeah, so like most like school of fish, like they're small, they're not that big, and especially on the coast, like you see school of fish all the time, and they're like tiny fish. But these were big fish, like each fish could feed a family, like that's how big these fish were. And they were swimming, and they were hitting the girl, and they started going through the group, and they started smacking everybody. And
Wait, I gotta ask, is the girl still alive?
The girl is still alive, yeah, but she was like
cool. I can laugh about it
small
then.
enough where like these fish, when they hit her, they actually were hurting, and like I was getting smacked left and right. My wife was just like, "This is so cool!" Like everyone else was like enjoying it.
Yeah.
I was just like getting beat down by fish, and like I was telling my wife, I was like, "We need to get out." She's like, "What do you mean? We were the last ones in," and I was like, no, like, you don't understand. And she's like, what? Tell me why we were only in here for 5 minutes and we paid like whatever. And I was like, listen,
Listen, I'm gonna die.
this is a school of fish, and these are big fish, and we're on the coast. This size of fish, they don't run to the coast like this for no reason. That
Did
means
your
that there's
ancestors
something.
do something to them?
I don't
Like, did
know.
Did you like
No.
reinvoke PTSD or something?
Listen. I was telling her. These fish are running from something. There's something behind them that is bigger and scarier, and I'm not trying to find out what it is. And so my wife, I convinced her. I was like, just trust me. Let's get out of the water. And then once we got out of the water, the people were confused on the boat. They're like, wait, you were the first ones in, blah, blah. And I was like, leave me alone. I'm going upstairs. And then
I got
the A group, the group that was supposed to see all the stuff, they didn't see shit. They didn't see anything. There was no fish there. There's no turtles, nothing. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. That's so sad, because they were like, they went around the whole place just to miss all the fish beating us down. So we get on the boat. The boat starts going. Everyone comes back in. Everyone had time of their life, apparently, except for me and this little girl. And I mean, it was cool. I think we got pictures of it, and like, I was cool, but I was just having anxiety. And then so we start the boat, and not even like a minute later, there was a bunch of whales, just like not like, you could see them from like if you were on the beach, you could see these whales, and these whales,
your next opponent,
was just like doing this, like up and down, and I'm like that is exactly why we need to go. There were whales, and she was like, what do you mean? We were supposed to do a whole separate whale watch thing, right? And the people on the boat, like, because they, like, you know, they gave us more than our money worth. They're like, you guys weren't supposed to see whales. Like, that was a whole separate excursion. And they were like, we usually don't even see whales this close to the shore. You usually have to go further out. And I'm like, I'm never doing this again.
I like to imagine the whales were like, where's Parr? Where's
Yo.
Parr?
The thing is also about whales.
I must kill him.
the thing about whales is, like, you can't be near them, because if they use their sound and you're like in the water, you'll go deaf, like, because they're just like break your eardrums with their sound. But that's the thing, like, what's confusing to me is, like, I can tell, like, dogs and cats and, like, small animals, birds, and even fish, they like me. Like, they generally do. But the thing is, like, when a giant monster is coming at you, like, you can't, there's no like, hey, it's a cute whale, like, you know what I mean? And and this also happened to us in Disneyland, or Disney, whatever is in Florida. This actually happened to us with a rhino, with a white rhino. It like charged at the safari cart, and the lady was like mad at me because I had my camera out, and like the rhino was basically like touching my hand. She's like, don't touch the rhino. I was like, the rhino's touching me. What do you mean? And then and she was like the rhino could flip the car, and I'm like, yeah, that, I don't know what we're doing here. Like, this sounds like a you problem. This sounds like you guys should do something about the rhinos. And oh my god, it's just so crazy. But that is why I have thalassophobia.
So
because
you watch One Piece, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So now that I know that you're afraid of fish, were you scared during Fishman Island?
No, I was not afraid of Fishman Island.
I like to imagine every episode and every chapter of Fishman Island, you're just shaking a little bit. You're like, oh god, they're back. They're out to get me.
No,
These
but
damn fish people.
You know when they travel to the place and there's just like they can't see anything
Like sea
in the
kings
dark.
and stuff?
Yeah, and then they just like zoom out and then you see the thing. That's me in any body of water where I can't see the ground. It, like, my brain just inserts monsters, and I'm like, I don't even blame myself. Like, one time me and my wife went to a lake, and the lake had like the net so like fish wouldn't come in or whatever. Yeah, fish still were biting my legs, and they were nibbling on my wife because she was near me, and she couldn't swim near me because the fish were surrounding me. I'm like, I don't, this is all the time, and I'm just,
you're like the second coming of Aquaman.
It's not, it's sometimes I want to experiment with it, but like then other times I'm like, nah, I'm cool.
What's
I'm chilling.
What's funny is that the fear of the ocean usually stems from the fear of being alone, the fear of the dark, and things like that, or the fear of the unknown. But yours stems from the fear of being swarmed, the fear of being attacked by fish.
Yeah, if
just
that
nonstop,
didn't exist,
relentless.
In the dark, I'm fine. Like, I'm not afraid of the dark or anything like that.
Yeah.
The ocean is different because I know so much about it and like animals. But
you're not afraid of the dark?
No, I'm not afraid of the dark. Like, especially if I'm
Superman.
with like, especially when I'm with people, those fears tend to go away. But then like, I just remember when I was a kid, the only thing that would scare me was when you're in the basement and then you turn off the lights and you have to run up the stairs. That's the only thing that would scare me. It's just like the process of going up the stairs. I feel like sometimes I could turn off the light and just stand there, but it was like I don't know what it is, the door of the light upstairs and then the downstairs, and you walking out of it, you're just like gonna get grabbed or some shit. I don't know.
Something's gonna pull you to the dark.
Yeah. Now that I think about it,
man, I'm scared of the dark, man.
Really?
Or at least when I was a kid, I was. Yeah. I used to always sleep with a nightlight.
Oh, yeah. I had a nightlight when I was younger, but that was because the reason why I had a nightlight was because there was this creepy branch that like my parents refused to cut off that would leave a shadow in my room. And I was just like, I just didn't sleep in that room because it was just like the window was so creepy. Like, I'm pretty sure there was like a bird that would just like perch there. And like, now that oh my God, I never even thought about that. That was probably like an animal thing too, that the bird was just chilling there. Oh my goodness. I never slept in that room. Like, I had, in our first house, or the house that I remember growing up in, because it was the one we moved out of, I had one of the bigger rooms in our place, but I always sleep in my brother's room or across from my parents' room, because I was like, this room is terrifying. And like, that was one of the
like a
things.
Bird outside.
Oh my God. Well, and I actually have a fear of birds. I actually do have a fear of birds, because birds are scary. Birds are scary. Have you heard about the UK stuff?
No, what's happening in the UK with birds?
So like, I don't know if this is post-pandemic or during pandemic, but they have a warning. If you can't leave your dog, like if it's a small dog or a small animal, you can't leave it outside unattended, because the seagulls will attack it, and they're not like trying to eat it. They gouge out the eyes and make it weak and cripple it, and then they'll come back later for it. That's
smart.
That's like a common thing, and it's
chipping
like
away at the
birds
HP bar.
Are just crazy, and like I have like
applying
few
status ailments.
Oh my goodness! Not the status.
Blinded, deafened, crippled,
-10 speed,
mangled,
durability broken, like shield
broken.
Oh no! Visibility down, like. And like, I have a few viewers from Australia, and they were telling me like Australia is different, bro. We need to have a whole episode about Australia.
There's a guy on YouTube who his whole channel is dedicated to saying that Australia isn't real.
What? What do you mean?
So there's this YouTube channel called SunnyV2, and he does a little mini documentaries about channels on YouTube. And he made one video about a guy who believes that Australia doesn't exist, and that it's government propaganda, and everybody who says they've been to Australia is either tricked or a paid actor.
What did he like take? I mean, this almost sounds like Flat Earther. Like, did he just take?
Yeah, no, he's definitely like a Flat Earther kind of guy.
But the thing is, like, this is my favorite part about the Flat Earther thing. It's like, I just had this like thought in my head where it's like, I love it when people have alternative takes. But
I don't.
But what I would love for them to do is for them to prove it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just say shit. You have to prove it, right? There's a reason why people believe in the science and the thing. It's because they have an academic thing, and it's the most believable thing. Well, if you have a more believable take, then figure it out and convince us. Like,
okay, that's a better way to put it. If they have science or something backing it, sure. But if they're just saying it to be like different, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need that opinion here.
And like the Flat Earther one is like, there's a few of them that like after the decades of them existing, they were like, you know what? we're gonna prove it. And then they proved that the Earth was round.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys kept up with it. So to all the listeners out there, the flat earthers, in almost every attempt to prove that the Earth is flat, they actually prove that the Earth is round, but they still say that, this data looks strange. I don't know what it is. And then they just brush it off. So like, if you have a different opinion, dope. But if you it's only good if you have evidence or something back, right? You have some basis to it. If you're just saying it just to, I don't know, sound different, then that's something else.
Yeah, like whenever, like, I mean, not to talk about like the pandemic in this way, but like, there wasn't, science never has a perfect answer. The answer is always developing, and the way that answer develops is by having different perspectives tackling a problem. And in order for those perspectives to develop, they need to have evidence behind them. And like, so like there was a lot of people that were saying valid things, but they would disrupt all of science to try and make their point, when they could have used science to make their point. And there was other people that did that, and then months later it's like, oh yeah, we could just do this.
How dare you underestimate the power of Facebook?
Yo, Facebook's crazy.
How dare you disregard Facebook posts made by your old high school friends?
Oh my goodness. Is that what it was for you? Was it your old high school? Like, it was
my old high school friends. I mean, even some of my family, like, they're very like, obviously people are different. Yeah. Everybody's gonna have a different opinion than you, but god damn, some opinions out there are kind of crazy.
No, I have a question though. Like
what's up?
In terms of like, vaccine, I think vaccine's a safer one. Like, in terms of, more people are okay with it. There's probably some people who don't take a lot of vaccines, and I get like some of the proliferatory ones, but like
I only got the vaccine for unemployment because I lost my job during the whole pandemic.
Oh, I thought you were making a joke, like the unemployed vaccine. I was like, what are you talking about?
No. I mean, because I stay at home. I'm a homebody. I was unemployed. I didn't have a job, so I was like, oh god, like what am I gonna do? And they're like, hey, if you're unemployed, you need to get the vaccine. I was like, oh shit, I guess I'll get it.
So the part of the vaccine that I wanted to bring up wasn't even like if the medical part, if you agree or not agree. It was the tracker chip one. Like the people who think that the vaccine gives a tracker chip. How like
like it was like some high level like technology, like Iron Man. Like, oh, if you take the vaccine, you're gonna have a chip implanted into your body by the government. Well, here's the thing: if the government wanted to do that, wouldn't you think it would be in the water? Wouldn't you think the tracker chip would be in the flu shot? Like, why COVID? Like if anything, it'd be harder to put it in COVID shots than anything. That was the funniest one. Oh, the tracker chips are gonna be a thing in your bloodstream now.
Yeah,
like dude,
like that.
Your small brain, like a real intellectual, put it in your seasonal flu shot, Velma.
No, so like I'm not here to convince people to get vaccinated, but that one, like, I want to ask you, of the people that you mentioned, like the high school people and the family, what percentage of them do you think were like tracker chip people? Because like for me,
I think 1 or 2%.
1 or 2%.
It wasn't huge, but I still like 1 or 2 posts like once in a blue moon about it.
I feel like because my high school was really interesting, right? Because there's like a separation where like there's like uneducated, but like they're also, the thing is, it's like immigrants is a different group, because like most immigrants I knew just trust the vaccine because they get hundreds of vaccines abroad, and it's like that's just how you survive, because like there's crazier shit out there than what we're dealing with. I mean, the pandemic aside, like the other stuff that they have to deal with abroad, it's like, yeah, you need to get vaccines. So for most people, it's commonplace amongst immigrants. So between immigrants and then education level, it was really interesting, because my high school, we had like my graduating class had like 1,000 kids, and so like there was like 5,000 kids in the entire school. But like I was like, there's surprisingly no one was like pushing some crazy shit, at least from what I heard. I was like, really? Like there's people who fell into pyramid schemes, but they didn't buy into the tracker chip thing? Like I was genuinely shocked. I was like, wait a second. Like,
I'm surprised my parents didn't fall for that.
Are we gonna segue into that conversation? Are we gonna segue into that? Are we saving that for the next episode?
We'll see, but it did remind me of my parents though for a minute, because I think my parents they weren't on the tracker chip train, but they didn't believe in the vaccine for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, again, like, there's a time and place to be able to convince somebody. Like, I convinced a lot of people about that, and it's more like, you know, hesitancy is always going to exist. And the government isn't exactly the best
best face for it.
Yeah, and like, you know, and
but the government usually isn't the face for it. It's like companies that are contracted by the government, though.
Yeah, and so during the pandemic time specifically, it's like there had to be a single scientist who had to push these things, and then there's like a liability thing, because at the same time, one of the main problems of a pandemic state is you can't wait for the full FDA approval unless you want to stop society in its tracks. So then, you know, when it came to like AstraZeneca and like those other vaccines that cause like blood clotting or the very rare neural diseases, the people normally would be able to sue or get compensated, but everybody who got the vaccine, you have to agree to the terms that there are risks, right?
Yeah.
So when the government's mandating that you get it, and then you also have to accept these risks, and those risks, though rare, can happen, that's not a great situation for anybody, right? And it's hard to convince anybody about that, and nobody wants to take liability. So the companies aren't pushing on the government, and the government can't push it back. And so then you just have the government trying to force it, and then that creates an offset situation where people just lose
they
trust.
have distrust.
Yeah, so like that makes sense. And it's like, I think where my line comes in is like the people that just like don't understand the science of it, and then it's like in trying to explain the science, that's where it's like convinced a bunch of people of how these things work and why. I think a lot of people, especially at the beginning, were like, how did they come up with it so fast? And it's like a lot of those people,
science, bro.
A lot of those people, they understood coding. And it's like, if you explain it in coding terms, that's exactly what the new mRNA vaccines essentially are. They're just essentially like,
you just plug it in until you get it right, and we already have like a bunch of formulas set, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a formula. You take whatever adaptation the viral strain that you're looking at, you just plug it in, and then boom, it's just done. It's so much easier.
You plug in like thousands and thousands at a time, and then of course like 100 are going to work, and then you just weed out which one has the least amount of side effects, and then boom, you have the vaccine. Which
is like, but back in the day, you know, the original vaccine, they always ask you if you're allergic to eggs because they grow them in eggs. That's how they work. And that's like such a weird thing that, like, if you told people that, it's like, how did this vaccine come out so fast? Well, these vaccines don't need to be grown in eggs. And they're like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, that's how traditionally vaccines are made. Some dude 100 years ago, 150 years ago probably, I think, developed this process to grow the vaccine in an egg. Yep, that is exactly how it is.
It's big brain.
Yeah. I sat there when I was like younger, and I was like, you know what this was? It was the same kind of like thing where like I always, to this day, I still question how we got milk. Like, we are not celebrating that man, right? Like the guy who's just like, dude,
we have to.
I know, but like, why?
A guy saw a cow and said, "Yo, like, it tastes. It could be a woman even. They could say, hey, this tastes pretty good, naturally from humans, and this might taste good from cows."
All right, side, profile it.
Do you like milk? Like milk?
Do I like milk? Honestly, truthfully, no. I'm not a milk person.
Really? I love milk.
I like dairy. I'm fine with dairy, like ice cream and stuff. Like, yeah. But like milk, growing up, I never was like a milk person.
Dude, I still drink milk to this day. All I can think about right now is after this call, I'm gonna pop open a glass of milk.
That's fair. That's fair.
Horizon Original.
Wait, are you?
What's up?
Cow milk, or do you do oat milk and almond milk?
Oh God, I do not do oat milk. How dare you?
Wait.
No, that's gross. What are you talking about? Oat milk. What's up?
Wait, but the nut juices are better.
I don't like nut juice. I don't care about whatever benefits it may have or what it has over regular cow milk, but I f the cow milk.
You have with the cow milk. So
Yeah,
you don't think it's...
See, here's the thing. I'm lactose too. I am lactose, but I suffer so that my body can fly.
Wait, when you have your coffee, is it black or
Yeah.
do you put milk and creamer in it?
I put milk and creamer in
That's why you go to the... Sigh. No. You guys don't understand how frustrating this is. You... Was it last call? No, it was literally last call. Where you were just like, I gotta drink coffee. Don't like. We're gonna have to pause. You guys, the viewers who are One Piece viewers, don't see the cuts, but we cut like 4 times because I had to go to the bathroom, and I thought it was just people get the coffee runs, sure. But now you're lactose intolerant. You're putting cream.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
No, you don't. You just put almond milk. It's the same. If it tastes coffee,
almond milk is trash.
Bro, you just get the sweetened version. Just get the sweetened version.
No, I don't want the sweetened version. Almond milk is too silky. It's gross.
What do you mean it's too silky? What kind of curdled ass milk are you getting? What are you talking about?
Almond, dude. I don't mess with nuts, bro. Like you can have all the nuts you want. I am a cow guy. Give me the udders.
Okay, but like, what if there was another animal that you could get milk from? Would you do it? Would you drink that milk?
I'd try it. But taste-wise, I've only liked... I've tried almond, I've tried soy, I've tried cashew, coconut... Like, I've tried almost every kind of milk out there.
You gotta try the sweetened versions.
Horizon.
I'm telling you,
I've tried the sweetened version. I used to work at a coffee shop. We had, like, all the crazy soy milk and almond milk out there in the world.
Soy milk's nasty. All right. So this is the thing. This is actually one of my... So... I'm going to have like a science channel up very soon. But now that shorts are popping off, I'm probably going to do shorts format first to like boost it up. But this is what I always do.
Milk has to be one of the shorts.
Yeah, I'll do a milk one. I'll do a milk one. But here's the... In the future...
Yeah.
In the future, you know how like beef and we're now making like synthetic beef and
like the
like
impossible stuff.
Yeah, and plant-based beef and all that stuff, right? All that stuff is still so much less efficient than one single food source. And before I say what it is, would you eat it if it's all natural? It's healthier than beef and meat and all that stuff, and more nutritious and better for the environment. And it's all natural.
I don't care about the environment part.
Okay, who cares about the environment? Everything
I don't care
else.
if it's natural. I am a taste guy. If it tastes good, I'll eat it.
All right, so then let me hit you with it.
What's up?
Bugs are actually more like
I fuck with bugs.
You okay? All right. See this.
No, see, but I'm Asian though, right? Like I sometimes go to family parties and they're cooking up bugs just on the side. Like it is how it is.
I've never had bugs. Yeah, but Latin America,
I have an affinity towards bugs.
In Latin America,
I'm an entomologist.
Bugs too, and I never had it, and I don't like bugs. Like I'm not a insect person. All creepy crawlies. I'm not afraid per se, but I'll jump if I see a spider. But I'll still kill it. Also, I'm not like that scared. But like, there in the future, the way we would save the world, we wouldn't make chickens, we wouldn't make cows, it would just be insects. Insects are like, the protein density is like 20 times more than beef, the carbon footprint is so much less, and like the next step of that is like, wait, but then we'd still need milk, so then you still need cows. No, actually, there's here's the milk source we've discovered, and this was years ago. I don't know if they've made any developments on this, but
You're gonna say breast milk, I know it.
No, it's not breast milk. We already have breast milk.
Oh, okay, good.
There's a superfood. It's classified a superfood. So like kale and like all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
This milk sourced from this animal is considered a superfood. Yes, it's a cockroach. It's a roach that gives it lactates and creates milk crystals. And apparently it's like 15 or 20 times more dense in nutrients than milk, cow milk and all that stuff, and it's easier to make. But I just figured that there's like nobody wants like roach milk, and I'm like, but like you just said, you're fine with insects. I'm like, why wouldn't you be fine with roach milk, right? Because it's so far. It's not like you're having the roach. You're just having like something, and then it ends up tasting like milk.
I am fine with roach milk.
Okay,
as long as it tastes good. That's all I care about.
As long as it tastes good. They can make it taste good.
If they can, then I'll drink it. Same with food. Like I will scarf it down. But it just has to taste good. Like I don't care about the nutrition. I don't care about the proteins.
Are you a person? So my wife hates me for this. She actually is like one of her pet peeves about me.
Mine is my Asian accent. Every now and then with my wife, I'll whip out a nasty Asian accent.
Do you want to give an example for the class?
Oh no.
Okay, all right.
But if it comes out, just know what's up.
So like some random podcast viewer who hears you and just assumes you're white based off your voice, he's like, "This guy is super racist."
Yeah. like just when it's me and my wife alone, like in the house, I'll whip out the most like racist Asian accent I can, like you could even imagine.
No,
just like out of the blue.
That different. My wife, I do things my wife.
You do the same.
my wife always says like because I always tell her like everything's listening. Like I could never run for president because like the cameras are listening. And then like I'll do it on purpose. I'll just say some out of fucking thing, and she'll be like, and then I'll be like, it's fine. No one's listening. And then
nobody's listening.
And then I'm pointing to the camera on the phone and like, oh, I'm sorry. Associated. But what was I gonna say with the it was like especially like college days. I like food. We used to eat good food here and there. Try
eat
food
once a day.
But I would also this is how I eat my Five Guys burgers. This is an example.
Yeah.
I turn it into a burger salad. So I get the burger and then I just chop it up, flip it up like a salad, and just eat it like with a fork and spoon. And like my wife is fine with that. But then the step was like, you know what? It'd be so much easier if I just blended all the food. If like it's all going to the same place, and sometimes I just
like the chum bucket from SpongeBob.
Yeah, and sometimes I just don't have time to eat. So I have never done this, but sometimes I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna blend it. And my wife just starts yelling at me. She's just like, stop it! Like I'm just gonna just eat how I made it. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll eat your food how you made it. But there'll come a day when I'll make my own food, and then I'm very like encouraged to just whip out the blender and blend that shit together.
Just blend it, pour in a bowl, and just use a spoon and eat it. Yeah.
No, or just drink it like a smoothie. Like I'm just like,
see, that's like one of the cursed forbidden techniques. I have another one, and my wife hasn't even seen me do it too. So
back when I was a kid, I've never actually done it. I've never actually done it, but you're saying you've done one of these cursed techniques.
I do this a lot.
Okay,
but I can only do it when my wife isn't looking. So usually when she's in bed or away, I'll usually do this. So what I do is I buy a bag of the flamin' hot fries. You know what I'm talking about? Like the flamin' hot fries, like the little sticks.
The blue bag thing. Andy's
no,
fries?
no, they're like a red and yellow bag. So I buy those bags, like the hot fries.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'll buy them up. So I'll take maybe 4 or 8 of them, anywhere from that number, depending how big they are. I'll put them all in my mouth, and I suck all of the air out of it, and I replace the air with my saliva to make like this clump. I make a clump in my mouth, because the air is what makes it so puffy and gives it the shape. So I get rid of the air. I put saliva in there, all in my mouth. Like I'm like using Walpole's devil fruit over here, the munch fruit. And I reform it into a ball, and I'll spit it back out into my hand, and I eat that. And back when I was a kid, I used to have a jar. Where I would do that for like maybe an hour or two, like take 1 or 2 bags, spit in that jar, and then I'd go back the next day and eat it.
So like that's like bird food then. You just do...
Yeah, kind of like how a bird would feed its newborn. Yeah.
I'm trying to
And
think if there's a nut.
I
Oh, that's
still
what
do it to this day, but
squirrels-
not often.
I think squirrels do that with nuts.
It's
right?
it's like a mixture of squirrels and birds, because I know birds do that too, where like they get like a worm and like chew it up and spit it in their mouths.
yeah, and then just like kind of like save it for
And then squirrels like do the whole like stuff in their face with acorns. So
and then
it's
they
kind of like a
dig it,
mixture,
leave
right?
it, and then they come back. Huh.
I'm
Yeah.
a squirreled.
Wait, just clarification.
Yo, what's up?
When's the last time you've done that?
Maybe 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
I have like a so when it comes to junk food, I have phases. So I'll go from one food to another, and it's an endless cycle. So it's Flamin' Hot Lays, extra Flamin' Hot Cheetos, Flamin' Hot Fries, and then Dynamites. So I'll go in between all those food items, and then right now I'm on the extra Flamin' Hot Cheetos. But I have been craving the extra Flamin' Hot Fries recently, so might have to whip out that old recipe any minute now.
See, like your method, your forbidden technique, as you called it. I'm curious if any of the listeners relate. Two, that like for me, that like you're adding like a process to eating, right? For me, the reason why I want to do the thing that I want to do, it eliminates things, and then I can work more or do more things. And or I could be mobile, right? Like I could like go on a drive. It's like I can eat a burger. Like you can eat a burger, but like drinking is a lot easier. So then it's like not drinking and driving. You know what I mean? Not that kind of drinking, but like
drinking a burger. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. I mean, like I want to try.
So
it
it's not really like a process. It's more of me cooking with my body.
I'll never like because I know in these like at like 4 a.m. that's when you have like dinner or something like that. And from now on, whenever you leave a call, you leave a stream, you're like, I gotta go have dinner. I'm never not gonna be thinking about this. Like I'm just gonna be thinking this is what you need. Like I'm going to be cooking dinner. Like oh god, not the mouth oven.
Sai sucking out the air to the fries. I can hear it from over here.
Oh geez, that's so interesting. And like as weird as it is, I'm sure there's weirder things and weirder quirks. But the fact that like I can immediately relate that to an animal, like a commonplace animal, I feel like that's it's not dismissible, but more so like what's it called? I just kind of accept that, you know.
It was evolution at its finest.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're pushing on to like an hour and 30. Do you want to go ahead and cut it off here before we get into more juicy topics?
Yeah, we could cut it off here. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, you guys heard it here first. We only made it to like I think the third fact on the Mariana's Trench, and somehow the Mariana's Trench its depth knows no bounds because it took up this entire episode just talking about the Mariana's Trench.
So we'll end up what's it called? Talking about the Mariana's Trench, I'm sure, on future episodes.
Yeah, no, it's gonna come back. Trust me, guys. If you're down there in the comments, you made it to this point. If you want to hear more about the Mariana's Trench, please let us know, because it led us to all these conversations.
Yeah.
Don't forget, the bird food stemmed from the Mariana's Trench.
I guess so. I guess it did. Do
you wanna end off, or do you wanna have anything else you wanna say before we go ahead and cut it off?
No, all I gotta say is we're gonna be doing these calls as often as we can, once a week. The 50/50 podcast with your host Sai and Par.
Is this on Spotify?
Yes, it's on Spotify.
That's dope. Do we have a picture? Is it the same picture you sent me earlier?
Yeah, it's just that logo. Oh, it's an updated version, I think. Yeah.
What we should do is we should find a Fiverr artist. And see if they can make something for us, like a drawing of us or something.
Okay, I mean, for a drawing of us, there's a lot of people I could ask for that. So
we should get like a cute little drawing. No, not cute. It's got to be manly.
All right, yeah, I'll figure
like maybe
it out.
Both of us like bulked up 6-packs or something.
Sounds good to me. I'll figure it out. All right, so with that, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, thank you guys.
See you guys, or tune in
maybe
to
gals.
the next 50-50 episode 3. You don't even know what's coming your way. Is Mariana's Trench fact number 4 coming, or
is it Greta Thunberg? I don't know.
or are we
You
gonna
guys
be
tell
talking
me.
about more about Samoans, which is like one day Dwayne the Rock Johnson will be like, what was the Samoan bit about? I was like,
Dude, if we could ever get Dwayne the Rock Johnson on here, it's game over.
Yeah.
Like he would tell us so much about Samoan culture.
yeah,
It'd be insane.
I'd love it. That's
Yeah, if you guys want Dwayne the Rock Johnson here, please hit him up.
Please hit him up.
Please hit him up.
All
And
right.
if you're watching Dwayne the Rock Johnson manager, we're waiting for you guys.
Waiting for you guys. All right, peace out.
All right, peace.